Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, glory, and fear to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect. We'll get straight into this, a quick epistle on faith. All right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 22. We'll start at verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that Yahweh, all right, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. So first and foremost, we're seeing that the Lord does tempt certain individuals, meaning he tests, all right, certain individuals, man. So that's something that we need to understand, being a part of this thing of ours, is that you may have a season where things seem to be going well, but you have to understand that that doesn't mean that bad things won't happen, and that doesn't mean that the Lord won't tempt you or test you. All right, so our forefather Abraham is getting ready to go through a temptation from Yahweh Shem Shai, which is really a test of his faith. All right, and it reads in verse 2, and he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him therefore a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee. So there it is, man. The Lord is telling Abraham to take his son and sacrifice him. All right, to take his life. That's exactly what's going on. How would you feel in that situation, whether it was one of your loved ones or whether the Lord, told you to do it yourself, man? This is exactly what we're getting ready to be faced with during Jacob's trouble. These different dire straits, man. All right, these extreme situations, and for us to pass these tests, man, we have to have true faith, man. All right. And it goes on to say, basically that Abraham was obedient to the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Then we'll go down to verse 10, and it reads, and Abraham stretched forth his hand after, he got him and his son to the place where the Lord wanted him to go to make that burnt offering, that sacrifice, which was to be his son. All right, this is what happens. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. So he is currently in the act, all right, of taking the instrument used for, sacrifice, and getting ready to actually put his son, to sleep, man, for the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. And there it is, man. And I'll finish it. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Beautiful, man. A lot's going on here. Miracle, a test of faith that was passed, and the Lord spared that fate of Abraham having to sacrifice his son, man. But it really was just all a test, man. All right. And that's the reason why I wanted to bring it out, man, because let me get this in the book of Hebrews. Gotta have that. All right, here's the definition, quote unquote, biblical definition of faith, man. If you're ever wondering, all right, Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. All right, and that brother, our forefather Abraham, he didn't see that ram that was in the bushes. All right, at first he wasn't there. Okay, or he didn't see him, or he wasn't there. Okay, and so that was something, all right, that he could not see, man, but he had enough faith to know that regardless of what happens to his son, Abraham definitely had faith that if he had to sacrifice his son, that the Lord would raise him up, or bless him, for being obedient. And that's what we have to understand, that as we get ready to go through our last, the water, Yahweh Shem Hawashai, our last, temptation. And the part of the big one is going to be, of course, that mark of the beast, man. And we have to have faith in that evidence of things not seen, to believe that the Lord is going to be there for us, to provide for shelter, clothing, or food, because all these things are going to become an issue. It's an issue now, but definitely not taking that mark of the beast, man. It's going to be very, very tempting. All right. They do their universal income, and you see people, eating again, and they're getting money and things like that. It's going to be tempting to have a decent roof over your head and things like that. But again, we're seeing a perfect example in the beginning of the book of true faith, man. And that's what the spirit that we want to come in serving Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. We don't know how the Lord is going to feed us during this famine. We just have to honestly believe, man. All right. And there's going to be a manifestation of the true believers versus the pretenders. All right, so we got to have that faith, and faith without works is dead. So that's why we do these things. We give diligence to make our calling and election sure to the best of our ability. We keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and teach our people to do so as well, in hopes that these things will go hand in hand, faith with those works. So when we come into these situations where we don't again see the evidence of how we're gonna get out, man, that's where that faith comes into play. You hear brothers speaking about spiritual power and things like that, and I'm talking about a whole nother level of spiritual power a lot of people haven't seen. Flying, running at super sonic speed, being able to utterly destroy whole troops of men, of soldiers and things like that, man, through the power of Yahweh Hashem Hawashai. That's definitely something that's not seen. All right, especially when we talk about the real spiritual power, man. People don't really believe that. They'll say this and that about having faith and believing the Lord can do anything and all that, but soon as a little friction comes their way, it goes out the window, especially dealing with the finicky female. Oh my goodness, they talk a good game. I just was dealing with that last night through the spirit of power, how about Shema Hawashai, how Eve talk a good game, but when those tests come or that temptation come, man, she don't care nothing about Yahweh Shema Hawashai, because she don't have no faith for real. To her, it just sounds good talking about God got me, things like that. But they haven't really been in the quote unquote trenches, man, because they don't have the type of faith that we have. I'm not finna sit here and I can't really say if they have faith or not. I mean, I don't know. We're definitely going to see. But just using the discernment that I have, a lot of women don't really have faith in the Lord, man. They're just babied. And once the Lord stops babying them in relation to bringing the full wrath and judgment upon them, then we're going to see how weak in the lack of faith. And that's why they're going to, just like Job's wife, man, or any account of a woman that we thought maybe was a decent sister, a sister of some faith. And then when it hit the fan, they're looking back and they think everything is a coincidence, man. When it comes to certain things that happen upon the earth, they don't really know that it's Yahweh Shema Hawashai orchestrating all these things that happen in their lives, man. They think it's their own will, their own power, that they're doing the things that they do. And there is going to be a big realization here pretty soon that that's not true, man. All right, so again, we don't want to be like that. We don't want to be likened into a woman or likened into a man with no faith. We want to have that same faith that Yahushua had. We want to have the same faith that our forefathers had towards Yahweh Shema Shah. And again, a lot of that has to do For a lot of that faith has to do with just, believing the things that we can't see. Could be any situation, your day to day, that daily bread that the Lord, has promised us, for the obedient children, receiving that daily bread. You may be absolutely broke, may not have no food in your refrigerator or your pantry, and you got to have faith that the Lord is going to provide for you, and not compromise yourself, man. All right, and go out there stealing, because that's the wrong answer. All right, you have to have faith. You pray, you inquire, and then you be patient, man. That's a part of it. Easier said than done, but hey, that's something that we don't speak about a lot. Being patient, and hey, man, sometimes you gotta wait, man. Just like that brother that we just read the account, our forefather Abraham. It took a certain level of patience, man. He didn't, he was getting ready to have to put his son, to death, man. I'm sure that wasn't a light thing for him, even though he had faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. But that's not a light thing to have to put, your loved one to sleep, That's a horrific thing, man. You don't want to have to do that, man. But and another point was that the way that the Lord has dealt with a lot of our men, not every situation, but a lot, man, a lot. He come at the last second. Not to, I mean, as far as it's perceived to us, all right. The last second. Of course, it was already written, for us to be delivered out of any situation that we're gonna be delivered is what But as far as our perception, the last second, and it took that brother showing his faith, not just saying he was going to do something, not just getting to the place, but to the point where he actually had to have that knife in his hand and getting ready, to put that thing on his own, on his son, man. And he had to be patient, man. All right, and that's something that we have to understand. It may come down to the point where we're in the actual guillotine, all right, or we're in front of a firing squad, but you have to have faith and don't forsake, don't buckle, all right, and be like, oh no, I can't take this. Let's go ahead and bow down and worship this beast system, and give me that mark of the beast, because things got too real. It may good and well come down to, like, let's say you're in front of a freaking firing squad. The Lord may let them niggas pull that trigger, but there goes that the infinite power that the Lord wills, man, right in that very second, man. And the possibilities are endless once they squeeze that trigger, man. You've seen those Marvel movies. What was that? Was it the Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy? Wherever that big dude Thanos, man. One of the movies. I remember somebody was trying to shoot him. Old boy was trying to shoot him, man. And Thanos had that quote unquote power, and he turned them bullets or whatever, lasers, whatever. He turned them into bubbles. And you have to have that. It seems childish or kiddie or fantasy, but that's the type of faith that we have to have. I'm not saying the Lord is going to turn things into bubbles, but he could. But I'm just saying anything is possible in relation to faith, in relation to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Anything is possible. So it could very well come down to the last second where the Lord is going to try you, test you up until that point. He wants to see if you're going to believe unto him and continue to call upon his son unto death. Let's just keep it real, man. That's what this is all about, man. Having that type of faith to not be greater than the master, man. We're servants. We're not greater than the master. All right? Our master had to sacrifice his life. We may have to do the same thing, man. All right, we may have to be martyrs for this thing of ours, or the Lord, may lift up a standard. Either way, we have to have faith. If we're gonna die, we gotta have faith that the Lord is gonna raise us up, that we're gonna be in that kingdom. We're gonna be amongst the first, brothers, making it into the kingdom. All right. If we're not gonna be martyrs, we got to have faith that the Lord is gonna lift up a standard in relation to that spiritual power, those miracles, mawapathium, all right, in the Hebrew. And again, it could come down to the last second in that guillotine where they're, they're in the act of it actually dropping. All right. And then poof, there it is in that very second. All right. The Lord will do a miracle. Stop it. Stop time. Teleport you. I mean, that the possibilities are endless, and we do really believe that the Lord is going to get down all for his glory, all right, in his son's glory. He's going to let, certain brothers experience, these miracles, man. And again, it's all for the glory of Yahweh by Hashem and Hawashai. And he's going to do it, man, because the Lord is serious about his name and his legacy, man. All right. And his son's name and his son's legacy. So he is going to lift up that standard. The Lord is not a man that he shall lie. He said these things were going to happen. Prophesied to us a famine is coming and that his prophets, all right, or his servants shall eat. We don't know how that's going to happen when the famine comes and we can't just go in the grocery store. We've seen accounts of the Lord make food come down from the heavens, or animal feeding a brother, all right, or brothers surviving with what seems a little bit of substance. All these things, man, we have to truly believe in because it's gonna happen. And I'm still in the middle of a storm, but it definitely humbled me and had to examine myself. Am I really gonna have the faith that's required to make it through this per my lot, man? Because when that storm, it's always easier said than done. But when you're in the middle of that storm, just like those the disciples when they were out on the boat with Yahushua and that storm came and the Lord kind of rebuked them, for having not a lot of faith, man, in relation to those winds, man. All right. And that's exactly, what we're going through. These are strong winds. And guess what? The winds are only going to get stronger, man. So we want to make sure that we can hear our shepherd, which is Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashim and Hawashai, and make sure that no matter how loud the storm is or how intense it is, that we can always hear the shepherd and he's going to guide us and get us home, man. But you have to have true faith. And guess what, dummies? That's not something that you can do on your own. It has to be given to you. So if you desire to have that type of faith and you feel like you're lacking in that area, well, do what's required. Prayer, that's a part of this, and that goes with faith as well. You can't pray to the Lord and not actually believe in what you're praying for. You have to believe, all right, of those things. What is it? The evidence of things not seen. Are you going to pray for things that you don't have right now or that you need and you can't really, a lot of the time see or fathom how you're going to get out these situations or attain that which you seek. That's where the faith comes in, man. All right. And we're rehearsing these things. We're rehearsing the righteous acts. We're going through these trials and tribulations, man, so that we can glorify the Lord when it's, when it's go time, man, when the enemy comes in like a madman, sparing none. We want to make sure that we got that faith and that we're not, scared. Of course, we're going to be, circumspect and, concerned, but we're not supposed to fear, these motherfuckers, man. We fear Yahweh Hashem and Hawashai, man, because I'm just saying it's going to get real, man. And the Lord, mentioned us being pilgrims, man. And I was kind of experiencing that, here in the past couple of days, kind of being a pilgrim, having to leave my home and, because of trials and tribulations. And it's a very, very, it's different. It hits different, man, when you're actually going through it. And, I thank Yahweh Shema Shah that I did have the faith of a mustard seed, during that storm, that regardless, the Lord is going to look out for me. And for you to believe that the Lord is going to be with you, you got to have works, man. I'm gonna just keep it honest. Faith just alone, it's not going to give you the required faith that you need, man. And what I mean is basically believing that you're in good standing. We're definitely not going to be perfect, all right, by a long shot. But if you're doing things that's required, that the Lord commanded you to the best of your ability, of course, you feel more confident. If you're around here effing off, let's say you, I'm just being kind of and using this as an example. Let's say you just was in your wickedness, all right, in your flesh, and you decided to indulge or engage in a good old fashioned orgy. Okay, like the Babylonians do. You know how they get down. All right. And then the next day, or after you have left this orgy, the Lord brings judgment upon you. All right. if you, because do you truly think a person like that is really truly expecting to be delivered out of that situation after having just engaged in that type of behavior? Oh, absolutely not. And look at the exact opposite of that. Let's say you just went to camp, all right, and the Lord brings some temptation or test upon you where you're gonna have the confidence required, all right, and the faith required to make it out of that situation. That's why faith without works is dead, man. That's why we do these things, man. If you're not serving the Lord, which a lot of people are about to experience that in Jacob's trouble, these 2/3 Israelites, man, all right, they don't have that good standing, man. So when it hits the fan, they're not gonna have a leg of faith to stand on, and they're going to find themselves to be compromised, and they're going to take their mark of the beast, man. All right. And again, we don't want to be like that. We want to bring glory. Not that the Lord needs us, but as far as the humans go, we want to be the ones that the Lord is dealing with to show the people who our father and who our brother is, man. All right. Yahweh. All right, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly just calls God. All right, and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, we want to glorify these names in front of our brothers and sisters, man, here on the earth, as well as the rest of these nations upon the earth, man. But in order for the Lord, to do that, all right, it starts here. It starts now, man. We're developing this rapport, if you will, with Yahweh Shema Hawashai. We're seeing, cause and effect, definitely that, and we're learning how the Lord is dealing with us as a whole. All right, with this hopeful elect, as well as individually. All right, you should be learning how the Lord, because every brother has different lots, man. All right, the Lord deals a certain way with all of us as sons, but he definitely deals with us differently. He's blessed brothers with more in certain areas, and giving brothers less in other areas, man. But at the end of the day, or the beginning, I mean, the Lord is still our Father, man, and He's gonna deal with us as sons, man. All right, and we want to make sure that we're good sons, man, and that the Lord is going to use us to bring glory to Him and His Son, man, by way of those miracles, by way of that the protection. Us being able to understand these scriptures is likened unto a miracle, man. That's the Lord, and the whole earth is not reverencing Yahweh Shema Hawashai, but it starts with us, man. It's first starting with Yahweh, the first of the first fruits, right? And then it trickles on down to little old us, then little old me. And we're all just trying to fulfill our lives and just get the hell out of here. Let's just be honest, man. Everybody's tired. We're beat down, battered, and bruised. Especially understanding how the world operates, and that it's just completely wicked. It don't wore us out, man, like the Lord said it would, wearing out the saints, man. All right. And I forgot to bring this out in Ecclesiasticus, but and I'll leave it at this. When you come into this thing, this is something that we need to understand. Okay, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, there it is again, the Lord only dealing with his sons. Okay, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. And when we saw an account of that temptation with our forefather Abraham, all right, he had to first, I mean, it was so much obedience. He had to, go to a certain place where the Lord commanded him to go, and all of that up until the point where, again, he had to get his, knife or sword and pick it up and getting ready to, press it into his son to take his life for that burnt offering. And right in that very second, the Lord sent the angel, and he was rewarded. The Lord, through that angel, said basically, well done, Abraham, for having that type of faith. You was gonna put him to sleep, wasn't you? And we got to be in that same spirit. It may be our own selves that's on that chopping block. but we want to still keep that faith. And guess what, man? The Lord is showing you that he's all powerful. All right, he can come in that very second. That gun can be pulled out, can be fired from that gun. That bullet can be fired from that gun, man. And hey, they move pretty fast, don't they? Not faster than Yahweh Hashem Hawashai though, and you have to have that type of faith. Again, you might be in front of a firing squad, a gas chamber, with that, what's that, the lethal injection thing, man. You know, where they got all those needles and shit full of that poison, man. You know what I mean? Ain't no telling how they're gonna seek to take our lives, man, for the name Yahweh Hashem Hawashai. The whole point being, we better have some real faith. Just like Abraham, man. All right, to the point where we believe the Lord's gonna be with us in life or death. All right. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, glory, and fear to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Till next time, Shalom.